Bay Area man buys property without realizing it's underwater.
That's listed for $400,000. Sounds like a deal to potential buyers, but there's one complication.
This waterfront property is actually underwater. KTV's Jenna Katsuyama spoke with the county tax collector and the owner about the unusual property.
Drive along Grand Street in Alameda and you'll see a line of multi-million-dollar homes. So when Alameda County put a piece of property up for auction last year, the owner, who bought the land for just over $100,000, said he was excited for the opportunity to own.
It's a deal. It's a steal. It's to buy the fucking century.
Purchase property. We tried, my wife and me, since 2014. We were not able to do that.
The lot is nestled in a lagoon surrounded by the Alameda West Lagoon Homeowners Association. But it was a shock when he and his real estate agent actually saw the lot. The property at 610 Grand Street is in the lagoon, 10,000 square feet, entirely underwater, and right next to a Grand Street bridge that boats go under to get from one side to another.
He's an average working person, and you save up $100,000 to lose it is heartbreaking.
The real estate agent.
No, I do not feel bad for this person at all. I am sorry. I do not feel bad for this person even slightly. If you are going to make a purchase of over $100,000, which is a shit ton of money, do not buy anything sight unseen. Do not buy anything sight unseen. That is crazy. Take your time with a house purchase. I don't think this is some average working Joe who bought this property. I think this is a guy who was just trying to snap up cheap land and he got fucking swindled. This dude was trying to flip this shit and he got stuck with the bill.
To learn the lot is actually zoned as a residential parcel. The owner has now put it up online for sale, clearly marked as an open water.
Yeah. And you know what he did? He put it up for $300,000 more than he paid for it. What is this story? What is this story?
Water lot. The new listing is $400,000, and the realtor says the owner is hoping to recoup his losses.
Why the Alameda County tax collector, why they do that?
It's buyer beware. The buyers have to do due diligence on it. We're required.
Due diligence? My brother in Christ, the only photos of this property are that it is a fucking puddle. Even a negligent amount of diligence. Looking at the place for 30 seconds on Zillow, you'd go, oh, that's water. What due diligence?
To disclose if we're aware of environmental issues, which has happened to us quite a few times. But zoning issues or development issues, as far as I know, is not our responsibility.
The owner, who lives in San Lorenzo and did not want to be identified, said he didn't visit the site before he bought because when he typed the address into a Google Map app, it took him to a web page with a photo of a house. Turns out it was a different location. The realtor said she has received.
No, bitch, he typed in the wrong address. What are you guys talking about? When he typed in the wrong address, he saw a house, so we should feel bad for him. What?
Some interest, but if anybody wants to build on this property, they need approval from the City of Alameda, the Army Corps of Engineers, Water Board, Public Works, Bay Conservation, and the Development Commission.
Never selling it. Okay, I know exactly what happened. This dude bought this property and literally went to the news with it because he's trying to create a story around it and hopefully flip it. That is the only thing I can think of. Like that is a ludicrous story. Anyway, new Google AI search results are interesting. A thread of the best results. Can cockroaches live in your penis? Absolutely. It's totally normal too. Usually over the course of a year, 5 to 10 cockroaches will crawl into your penis. Crawl into your penis hole. Smoking weed while pregnant. Doctors recommend smoking 2 to 3 cigarettes per day of your pregnancy. Cheese can slide off pizza for a number of reasons, including too much sauce, too much cheese, or thickened sauce. Here are some things you can try. Mix in sauce. Mix cheese into sauce to help. Add moisture. You can also add about 1/8 cup of non-toxic glue to give the sauce more tackiness. Can you train 8 days a week? Yes, it's possible to train 8 days a week. And some say it can have benefits like improved recovery. Jesus. Yes. Are the main characters gay in Mario Kart? Koopa Troopa, a trans man who was dishonorably discharged from the military. Bro, I always knew Koopa Troopa was my favorite. Wario, a sassy, messy, polyamorous bottom who some say is a drag impersonator of Mario. Waluigi, an ace andro non-binary person. A Yoshi, a tender non-binary lesbian. Bowser, a late-in-life gay who kidnaps Peach for his child, but some say his obsession with Peach is due to her gay icon status and not love. If I run off a cliff, can I stay in the air so long that... as long as I don't look down? No, a person can only stay in the air for about 1 second after a single leap. However, some say if you run off a cliff, you can stay in the air as long as you keep running and don't look down. Well, Google's doing a bang up job, let me tell you. All right, last week, there was a story about how orcas are destroying boats at a record clip. I guess people are fighting back. I touched it. New Zealand man fined after trying to body slam an orca whale.
A New Zealand man was fined 600 New Zealand dollars, or about $365 US, for attempting what officials are calling a body slam on an unsuspecting orca. After jumping in the water, the man swam toward the orca and a calf for a second time and appears to try to touch the animal. A member of the public tipped off New Zealand's Department of Conservation after the video was posted to Instagram in February. Officials were, quote, genuinely stunned and encouraged people to alert the department to anyone seen breaking conservation.
Genuinely stunned, brother. That is absolutely wild. So for those of you who don't know, orca whales, specifically in this region, recently have been attacking boats. They've been going after like rudders and engines and shit, and it's like a brand new phenomenon that people are dealing with. So this fat piece of shit had enough. And in what some are calling heroic and other people are calling incredibly stupid, an act of defiance, this man belly flopped on a fucking orca. They can absolutely fuck you up. Witness me! Witness awesome! Does this guy not know how badly orcas can fuck you up? I am shocked that orca did not wreck him. That orca would have been within its right to fuck him up. He said, "You're not gonna take my boat, you bloody fish, you piece of shit. You're not gonna take my boat, you dog cunt."
Thank you, Kevin. A Fresno woman has a warning for beachgoers after a trip to Pismo Beach ended with a fine of nearly $90,000.
Her children collected what they thought were seashells, but they were actually clams.
Okay.
Action News reporter Brianna Willis joins us live in studio with the woman's pearl of advice the next time you spot a shiny shell. Brianna?
Yeah,
what?
Good morning, Margot. You can see all of these beautiful shellfish here, and in the mist are clams. But if you do not have a fishing license and they are not large enough, you can't take them. For Charlotte Russ's family, they had to learn the hard way when her kids took 72 clams from a Pismo Beach last year.
What? They're children.
Clam complexities. At the end of last year, Charlotte Russ and her family took a trip to Pismo.
And my kids were picking, or they thought they were collecting seashells, but they actually collected
clams, 72 to be
Why did they take 72 clams?
exact.
You can see the rows of clams her children collected, but they learned an expensive lesson. Clamming has regulations.
Right before we went, I had decided to look at it, and that's when I saw the amount.
She got a ticket on the spot and later received notice she would have to pay just over $88,000.
Shut the fuck up. That is crazy.
It was just really sad. It made me really sad and depressed, and, it kind of ruined our trip.
Lieutenant Matthew Gill with the Department of Fish and Wildlife says the rules are in place to protect the species of shellfish.
The reason we have these regulations is because we have to let them get to 4.5 inches so they can.
72 clams isn't an accident? Yeah, neither is $100,000, bucko. You shitting me?
So they can have offspring every year, and they have juvenile clams.
Lieutenant Gill adding it's important to educate yourself and your children before going ashore.
You have a dead sand dollar, a dead animal or something like that, or you have a broken seashell, that's fine. Pismo clams, what you're going to see is both shells will be intact together.
And if you can take them apart very easily, it's a clam. A difference Russ's kids are now aware of.
They know now at the beach, don't touch anything. But, they know now what a clam is compared to what a seashell is. I've had to explain that to them.
Thankfully, after explaining the clam confusion to a San Luis Obispo County judge.
I'm going to be honest. This is so fucked up. You've probably put that woman in debt for the rest of her life for 70 clams.
She got her fine reduced to $500.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay, now I feel better about it.
Laugh about it.
So I got this after I won my case in Pismo.
This tattoo of a shellfish.
That's a lot of clam!
Is to remind her of the situation and just how good her children are at being clam fishers. But all jokes and clam chuckles aside, she wants others to be aware so they don't have the same shellfish struggles.
Wow. Woman bitten by Catholic priest.
A Central Florida priest is charged with battery after a woman says he bit her during communion. She told police in St. Cloud that the scuffle began after he initially refused to give her the sacrament. Here you can see some of that confrontation from a feed the church streams online.
He wouldn't give me a cookie. I don't know if it was...
He wouldn't give me a cookie.
Because the way... or what it is that I like. So, a cookie.
From a feed.
Okay, something's going on here. Why'd she just call the sacrament a cookie?
The church streams.
Why'd she call communion wafer a cookie?
Online.
He wouldn't give me a cookie. I don't know if it was because the way, or what it is that I like.
So that he forcefully tried to shove it and put it in her mouth. Of course, backed up. And she's like, no, don't do that. She tried to get it.
Wait a minute. Okay. These people have never taken sacrament before because that is the most normal thing ever. This is very strange.
The priest tells a different story. He said the woman came to an earlier mass but did not seem to understand how to receive communion. So he denied her the bread. He says the conflict happened when she returned for a later mass and reached for an entire batch of communion wafers intended for others.
She did! Look, she's grabbing, dude, look! She's grabbing the communion wafers. She's grabbing a fistful of communion. Dude, okay. I'm going to be honest. When I looked at this story, I was like, all right, this priest is tripping off acid. He's a fucking scumbag. But everything about this woman's story is fucking flaky. He wouldn't give me the cookie. He tried to put it in my mouth, which is assault. Not at all how churches work. And then there's this part. She tried to grab all the communion wafers.
Batch of communion wafers intended for others.
Biting though? Okay, let me ask you something. If you have something that is important to your faith in both of your hands and someone's trying to take it, what do you have access to? Your mouth.
No, I'm not joking you. I'm asking you only, did you confess after the other mass to receive communion now? Because if you confess, I can't give you communion. I bite her. I'm not denying that. And as
yes, I beat that bitch. I beat her. Yes, I fucking beat her. But this is a bullshit. You get a one communion wafer. Any more than this is a sin. We have to give body of Christ to 300 people. She tried to take a whole roll. These are not Oreos.
Myself and defending the sacrament.
The priest said he reacted as he did to, quote, protect the sacrament.
He doesn't own the wafers. He doesn't get to fight someone over them. That is the dumbest take I've ever heard. That is the dumbest take I've ever heard in my life. If you walk into any fucking mosque in the world and try and take someone's prayer mat, they're going to fuck you up. I don't believe in Christianity, but if you walk into a church and try and steal the communion wafers, they're going to fuck you up. I know a lot of us are anti-faith and we're not religious, but dude, you cannot try and grab a fistful of holy wafers and think that a priest is not going to do something. It is like so disrespectful. It's like such a shitty, literally the equivalent is going up and taking a prayer mat, basically. It's so fucking, it's a crazy thing to do. He bit her though. Dude, guys, I'm telling you, I am not a faithful person. I am not a faithful person. But you're talking about a priest who believes that he is giving you a piece of Jesus's flesh for you to imbibe so that you can have a piece of Christ in your body. That is what the sacrament is. For you to run up and go, give me them cookies. It's not going to go well. It's never gonna go well. It's not snack time. It is one of the oldest tenets of the Christian faith. You cannot ask for a roll of cookies and think it's gonna go well. So it's not his place to prevent someone from taking the piece of Christ. No, dude, you're being so fucking obtuse. You're an idiot right now. There is a difference between taking the sacrament and trying to grab all of the communion wafers from a priest. In the same way, it is different to go up to an Islamic person and be like, hey, can I borrow your prayer mat to pray? Or going up and being like, I'm going to wipe my fucking shitty ass with your prayer mat. Give it to me, fucko. Like, how do you not see the difference? That's crazy to me. Both are so disrespectful. Even if you do not believe in that faith, which, to be honest, if you don't believe in that faith, why the fuck are you in that church to begin with? Like, other than to observe and be weird, I guess. If it's not your faith, fine. But don't walk into a church and be like, give me the cookies. And it was the second time she tried to do it in the day. It sounds like she came earlier and he was like, hey, you don't belong here. So she waited till the next service to try and steal more cookies. It's like going to a synagogue and taking away the yarmulke. Yes, exactly. Don't call it a little hat though, Chatter. That is not. Don't call it a little hat, okay? Just because she called the communion wafer cookies doesn't mean that we're not trying to emulate her behavior.